Protecting heart health in older adults is one of the most important commitments we can make to ensure a longer, more vibrant life. And it all starts with daily choices that build up over time into lasting habits. High blood pressure, often called the silent killer, doesn't always come with symptoms, yet it quietly damages the heart, arteries, and organs if left unchecked. For seniors, this danger becomes more significant as the body becomes more sensitive to factors like sodium, stress, inactivity, and inconsistent medication. The good news is that through simple, mindful adjustments in lifestyle, we can dramatically improve cardiovascular health, support stable blood pressure, and reduce the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other serious conditions. One of the most powerful ways to support heart health is through a heart-conscious diet. This includes foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as salmon, mackerel, walnuts, and flax seeds, which help reduce inflammation and support healthy cholesterol levels. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale provide potassium, which helps balance sodium levels in the body and ease pressure on blood vessel walls. Berries like blueberries and strawberries are packed with antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, while oats and whole grains help lower bad cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar, reducing strain on the cardiovascular system. Legumes like lentils, black beans, and chickpeas are excellent sources of plant-based protein and fiber, which together help manage weight and improve heart function. Olive oil, used in place of saturated fats, supports healthy lipid profiles and reduces the risk of plaque buildup in the arteries. And foods high in magnesium, like bananas, avocados, and almonds, further support blood pressure regulation and muscle function, including the most important muscle of all, the heart. Just as important as what you eat is how you move. Physical activity is crucial for maintaining a strong heart, but that doesn't mean seniors have to engage in strenuous workouts. Gentle, consistent exercise can be incredibly effective in lowering blood pressure and improving circulation. A daily walk, even for just 20 to 30 minutes, strengthens the heart muscle and increases oxygen delivery throughout the body. Simple stretching exercises or yoga enhance flexibility and blood flow while reducing stress. Chair exercises using light weights or resistance bands are excellent for those with limited mobility and can be done at home while watching TV. Water aerobics or swimming offer low-impact ways to boost cardiovascular health without putting stress on the joints. Even standing up and walking around the room every 30 minutes can counteract the negative effects of prolonged sitting, which has been linked to higher blood pressure and poor circulation. Beyond food and movement, stress management plays a critical role in protecting the heart. Chronic, unmanaged stress keeps the body in a state of tension, raising levels of cortisol and adrenaline that constrict blood vessels and elevate blood pressure. Daily stress relief practices, such as deep breathing, meditation, listening to calming music, journaling, or spending quiet time in nature, help reset the nervous system and restore balance. Social connections and emotional expression are equally important. Talking to friends, participating in community groups, or even pet companionship can lower stress and improve overall well-being. It's also essential to manage medications properly, taking them exactly as prescribed, without skipping doses or altering schedules without medical advice, as even small inconsistencies can lead to dangerous spikes in blood pressure. Regular home monitoring of blood pressure is another key step that empowers seniors to notice patterns and catch changes early before they become critical. By taking an active role in monitoring, seniors are no longer waiting passively for results. They're participating in their own healing process. Limiting alcohol intake and being mindful of caffeine consumption also supports a healthier heart, as both substances, when used in excess, can raise blood pressure and interfere with medication. Ultimately, heart health for seniors isn't about sudden transformations or overwhelming changes. It's about building a rhythm of small, consistent choices that support vitality, clarity, and independence. Every balanced meal, every step taken, every moment of calm, and every correctly taken pill is a step toward a longer, stronger, and more fulfilling life. Building on the foundation of a heart-healthy lifestyle, it's essential to understand how interconnected our body systems truly are, especially as we age. The health of the heart is not an isolated goal. It's deeply influenced by the health of the brain, kidneys, immune system, and even our emotional well-being. For older adults, maintaining heart health often goes hand in hand with managing cognitive clarity, energy levels, and overall quality of life. One of the most powerful yet often overlooked aspects of cardiovascular care is sleep. Deep, restorative sleep allows the body to repair itself, regulates blood pressure naturally, and balances the hormones that control stress and hunger. Seniors who struggle with sleep apnea, frequent nighttime waking, or insomnia may be unknowingly increasing their cardiovascular risk, as poor sleep contributes to inflammation, irregular heartbeat, and hypertension. Creating a calming bedtime routine, limiting screen time before bed, and establishing a regular sleep schedule can make a significant difference. Nutrition and exercise, as previously discussed, directly support sleep quality by regulating the body's circadian rhythm and reducing physical tension. Another essential factor is hydration. As we age, the sense of thirst diminishes, yet the body still requires adequate water to maintain blood volume, flush out excess sodium, and support kidney function, which plays a direct role in blood pressure regulation. Seniors should aim to drink small amounts of water throughout the day, even if they don't feel thirsty, and choose hydrating foods like cucumbers, watermelon, soups, and herbal teas to gently support fluid balance. Additionally, maintaining a healthy weight remains a cornerstone of heart protection. Excess weight forces the heart to work harder, increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, and contributes to plaque buildup in the arteries. However, weight loss doesn't need to be extreme or sudden. Even modest reductions, just 5 to 10% of total body weight, can significantly lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. For many older adults, focusing on portion control, mindful eating, and reducing processed foods leads to more sustainable results than rigid diets. It's also worth considering how chronic conditions like diabetes and high cholesterol influence heart health. High blood sugar levels damage blood vessels over time, making the heart more vulnerable to strain and disease. Managing these conditions through regular checkups, consistent medication use, and an anti-inflammatory diet not only protects the heart, but also preserves energy and mobility. Alongside medical care, natural supplements can offer additional support when used responsibly under guidance from a healthcare provider. Coenzyme Q10, magnesium, potassium, omega-3 fish oil, and hawthorn extract are just a few examples of supplements that may benefit heart function, though their effects vary depending on individual needs. Emotional health also plays a vital role in cardiovascular wellness. Feelings of isolation, anxiety, or depression can raise stress hormones and contribute to unhealthy habits. Older adults who engage in hobbies, volunteer work, creative expression, or simply stay connected with family and friends tend to have stronger hearts and greater resilience. Laughter, joy, and a sense of purpose are not luxuries. They are medicines that fortify the heart from within. Equally important is environmental awareness. Exposure to air pollution, extreme heat, or cold can affect heart rate and blood pressure, especially in vulnerable individuals. Staying indoors during high pollution days, dressing appropriately for the weather, and using air filters at home can protect the body from unnecessary stress. Even reducing noise pollution, such as constant loud TV or traffic sounds, can help lower baseline stress levels and promote heart-friendly relaxation. As we move through each day, it's the small, consistent acts of care that define the future of our health. Heart wellness in older age is not about achieving perfection. It's about nurturing balance, listening to the body's signals, and choosing self-respect through action. Whether it's taking a walk, drinking a glass of water, calling a friend, preparing a colorful meal, or sitting quietly to breathe deeply, each choice adds up. Together, they form a life not just of survival, but of strength, clarity, and joy, because the heart does not beat only to keep us alive. It beats to support every smile, every memory, and every moment of connection that makes life worth living. Continuing from the importance of holistic self-care and supporting heart health, it becomes increasingly clear that long-term wellness is rooted not just in what we eat or how often we move, but in the deeper rhythms of daily life the habits we build, and the mindset we cultivate as we age. For older adults, understanding and respecting the body's evolving needs is essential, especially in navigating transitions like retirement, loss of loved ones, or reduced physical stamina. These life changes can bring emotional and psychological challenges, but they also offer opportunities to redefine purpose, explore new passions, and develop routines that support both heart and soul. Mental stimulation plays a surprisingly powerful role in cardiovascular health. Activities that engage the brain, such as reading, solving puzzles, learning a new language, or practicing an instrument, support neuroplasticity and improve cognitive function, which has been shown to positively affect blood pressure and reduce stress hormones. Stress management itself is central to heart care. Chronic stress causes the body to remain in a state of low-grade inflammation, elevating cortisol and adrenaline levels, which in turn increase heart rate, constrict blood vessels, and wear down the body's natural repair systems. Simple daily practices like deep breathing exercises, meditation, mindfulness, and spending time in nature have been scientifically proven to lower blood pressure and stabilize mood. Nature therapy, sometimes referred to as forest bathing, invites individuals to walk slowly through green spaces, using all five senses to observe their surroundings, which not only calms the nervous system, but can also boost immune function and emotional resilience. In parallel, spiritual practices, whether religious or secular, often serve as a foundation for inner peace and community connection. Prayer, gratitude journaling, attending services, or simply reflecting on the day in a quiet space can provide emotional grounding and reduce feelings of loneliness or fear that often accompany aging. The power of intention, hope, and faith, regardless of belief system, has measurable physiological effects, including a reduction in heart rate variability and improved immune response. Equally significant is the role of preventive health care. Regular checkups with a trusted physician, timely screenings for cholesterol, blood pressure and blood sugar levels, and vaccinations against common illnesses like the flu or pneumonia all contribute to a stronger heart and reduced risk of complications. Preventive care also includes dental health, as gum disease has been linked to cardiovascular inflammation. Maintaining oral hygiene through daily brushing, flossing, and dental visits may reduce the bacterial burden that can affect arteries over time. Moreover, maintaining independence and mobility is deeply tied to heart health. Muscle loss and joint stiffness can make movement difficult, but tailored physical therapy, strength training, and balance exercises help older adults stay active, reduce fall risk, and keep circulation flowing efficiently. Walking, swimming, tai chi, and chair yoga are all excellent options that accommodate various levels of ability while improving cardiovascular endurance. Assistive devices, such as walking poles or supportive shoes, should be embraced when needed, not avoided out of pride, because they can extend a person's ability to move freely and safely. Community engagement is another underappreciated but critical element. Whether through senior centers, online groups, neighborhood gatherings, or faith-based communities, having a circle of support enhances emotional well-being and provides motivation to stay active and make healthier choices. Social isolation, on the other hand, is associated with higher rates of heart disease and cognitive decline. Sharing meals, participating in group walks, or simply exchanging stories can create meaningful bonds that nourish the spirit and protect the heart. Finally, embracing technology can empower older adults to take control of their heart health more confidently. Wearable devices that monitor heart rate, sleep patterns, and step counts can offer useful feedback and motivation, while telemedicine makes it easier to stay in touch with healthcare providers. Online classes and video tutorials provide access to guided workouts, relaxation sessions, and educational content that can be accessed from the comfort of home. As the heart beats quietly day and night, it carries within it the sum of every choice, every emotion, and every breath we take. Aging is not a decline. It is a transformation, a time to slow down, reflect, and live with deeper wisdom. By caring for the heart in its full context, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we do more than prevent disease. We create a legacy of health, strength, and vitality that supports not only ourselves, but the generations who look to us for guidance and love. That AS, we deepen our understanding of the interconnectedness between heart health and overall well-being. It becomes essential to explore how lifestyle choices made throughout the day, from the moment we rise to the hour we rest, shape not only our physical condition, but our emotional and spiritual state as well, especially in the later stages of life when the pace of living naturally shifts and reflection takes a more prominent role. The morning, for instance, holds powerful potential for setting a positive tone, and a consistent routine that begins with gentle movements such as stretching or a slow walk in fresh air can awaken circulation, support metabolic balance, and improve mood by triggering the release of endorphins and serotonin. While pairing this movement with a warm, heart-healthy breakfast, rich in fiber, antioxidants, and lean protein, can fuel the body and stabilize blood sugar, offering not just nourishment, but a sense of groundedness and care that carries into the rest of the day. Equally important is the cultivation of meaningful daily rituals. Simple, repeatable acts like preparing tea mindfully, watering plants, calling a loved one, or engaging in a favorite craft, which provide structure, foster joy, and remind the mind and heart that life continues to hold purpose, beauty, and connection, no matter one's age or limitations. Midday presents another opportunity to align health goals with personal fulfillment, as a nourishing lunch enjoyed without screens or stress allows the body to digest fully while promoting mindfulness, and taking time afterward for a brief rest or quiet contemplation, perhaps while listening to calming music or reading uplifting literature, reinforces the heart's need for moments of restoration between exertions. As the afternoon unfolds, engaging in low-intensity activities, gardening, organizing, attending a class, or volunteering, keeps both body and brain engaged while reinforcing one's role as an active participant in the world, a role that bolsters self-worth and emotional resilience, both of which are protective factors against cardiovascular strain. In the evening, winding down with intention could be just as healing as morning movement, and practices like preparing a light, wholesome dinner, dimming artificial lights, avoiding emotional triggers on television or social media, and spending time in reflection or prayer helps signal to the nervous system that it is safe to relax, aiding in lower blood pressure, reduced cortisol levels, and improved sleep quality. Sleep, often underestimated, is a cornerstone of heart health, as it is during these quiet hours that the body performs crucial repairs, regulates hormones, and recalibrates emotional responses, and establishing a consistent bedtime routine, free from stimulants or excessive noise, can dramatically improve both the duration and quality of sleep, especially when supported by calming cues such as herbal tea, soft blankets, familiar scents, or gentle breathing exercises. Meanwhile, the home environment itself plays a foundational role in supporting or hindering wellness, and creating spaces that are clean, uncluttered, filled with natural light, and decorated with cherished memories or nature imagery can foster a sense of peace and belonging that directly influences heart rhythm and blood pressure, while ensuring safety through fall prevention measures. Proper lighting and easy access to daily items protects physical well-being and grants greater independence, which in turn supports confidence and reduces anxiety. On a broader level, understanding the role of cultural identity and personal history in shaping one's approach to aging and health can deepen our appreciation for the many ways that traditions, music, food, and language serve as sources of strength, healing, and continuity, particularly when shared with younger generations or woven into daily life. Storytelling, for example, whether spoken aloud, recorded, or written in a journal, helps elders process their journey, affirm their values, and offer timeless wisdom to family and community, reinforcing that the heart is not merely a biological organ, but a keeper of memory, emotion, and legacy. And in recognizing that legacy, it becomes clear that caring for the heart is also an act of love toward others, for a strong and peaceful heart allows for more laughter, more generosity, and more presence in each precious moment, making every choice, however small, whether to walk instead of sit, to breathe instead of react, to forgive instead of hold on, an expression of both vitality and grace. Building upon the profound realization that heart health encompasses not only physical practices, but emotional richness, meaningful connection, and daily intention, we must now turn our attention to the importance of community and the unseen power of shared experiences in sustaining vitality. Especially in the later chapters of life, when solitude can quietly settle in if not actively met with efforts toward engagement and openness. For the human heart, while biologically dependent on rhythmic contractions and efficient circulation, also thrives on laughter, eye contact, companionship, and the subtle warmth of being recognized and valued by others. And this truth becomes even more evident in older adulthood when friends may have passed, routines have shifted, and familiar roles, such as parent, worker, or caregiver, may no longer anchor one's identity as they once did, leaving space that must be consciously refilled with new sources of purpose and presence. And this is where community becomes a kind of medicine more potent than any pill, as participating in group activities, whether a local walking club, spiritual gathering, neighborhood garden, book circle, or craft session, offers far more than entertainment. It brings structure, social accountability, emotional resilience, and cognitive stimulation, each of which plays a direct role in reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease, memory decline, and depression. Studies have shown that even brief positive interactions with neighbors or strangers can lower stress hormone levels, support immune function, and improve heart rate variability, reinforcing that connection is not merely a social nicety, but a vital sign in its own right. And when these interactions are deepened through acts of service, such as mentoring youth, helping organize community events, or offering life wisdom to others in need, the heart responds with a sense of fulfillment that elevates mood and creates measurable physiological benefits. This is also true in intergenerational relationships, which have a unique capacity to invigorate older adults with fresh energy, new perspectives, and opportunities to witness their legacy unfolding in real time. And for younger individuals, the stories, calm presence, and quiet strength of their elders can serve as a grounding force amid the chaos of modern life, forming a feedback loop of compassion, learning, and emotional nourishment. Technology, while often perceived as a barrier, can be a bridge when approached with openness and support. Video calls, shared digital photo albums, and even online classes can reconnect long-distance families, foster curiosity, and keep elders mentally engaged, provided that adequate assistance is offered to navigate these tools with confidence and ease. And alongside these external connections, we must also consider the internal landscape of the heart, which can hold on to unprocessed grief, long-ago regrets, or old patterns of self-criticism that subtly erode both emotional peace and physical health unless they are given space to surface, be acknowledged, and be gently released through practices like guided meditation, compassionate self-talk, or therapeutic journaling, all of which invite healing not just of the mind, but of the heart's deeper rhythms and burdens. Spiritual practice, in whatever form it takes, prayer, mindfulness, devotion, or silent awe, remains a deeply personal, yet universally stabilizing force, one that allows individuals to remain anchored in something larger than themselves, offering perspective during periods of change or uncertainty, and helping transform loneliness into solitude, fear into acceptance, and aging into a sacred unfolding rather than a diminishing. And finally, we must return to the fundamental truth that each day, no matter how ordinary it seems, offers a chance to listen more closely to the heart, literally and metaphorically, to hear its needs, honor its wisdom, and respond with gentleness. Whether that means choosing rest over productivity, laughter over worry, stillness over noise, or connection over withdrawal. Because a well-tended heart is not only more resilient, but also more capable of giving and receiving love. And it is through this continuous exchange, this dance between giving care and accepting care, that we realize health is not simply a personal achievement, but a communal gift, one that radiates from a single, strong heart outward in a family, neighborhood, and the world beyond. As we continue exploring the profound interconnection between heart health, emotional richness, and communal belonging, it becomes increasingly clear that true well-being in later life is not a static achievement, but an ongoing, evolving journey that requires adaptability, inner resilience, and a willingness to remain curious and engaged with life despite its inevitable changes. And one of the most overlooked yet essential components in this journey is the role of daily rhythm and ritual, not in the grand, ceremonial sense, but in the quiet, consistent practices that provide structure, stability, and subtle joy for the body, especially as it ages, thrives on rhythm, regular sleep and wake cycles, consistent meal times, gentle movement at predictable intervals, and periods of stillness that allow the nervous system to reset. And these daily rituals, whether a morning cup of tea enjoyed in silence, a short walk after lunch, a moment of gratitude before bed, or tending to a small plant, may seem mundane on the surface, but are in fact powerful anchors that signal safety, familiarity, and meaning to the mind and body, supporting hormonal balance, cardiovascular regulation, and mental clarity in ways that even medicine sometimes cannot replicate. And alongside these physical routines, mental and spiritual rituals, like reflecting on one's day, lighting a candle, reading a sacred passage, or simply breathing deeply with intention, invite presence and mindfulness, which studies have shown can reduce blood pressure, ease chronic pain, and reduce inflammation, all of which directly benefit the heart and immune system. Furthermore, rituals have the ability to turn ordinary moments into sacred ones, transforming repetition into reverence and helping us feel connected to ourselves, to those who came before us, and to something greater than our individual experience, which can be especially comforting during periods of loss, transition, or uncertainty, when the known world seems to shift and the need for inner grounding grows stronger. And as we integrate these practices into our lives, we also begin to develop what might be called a wisdom mindset, a perspective that values reflection over reaction, patience over impulse, and connection over competition. And this mindset not only calms the nervous system and lowers stress hormones, but also deepens emotional intelligence, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with grace rather than resistance, with curiosity rather than fear, and with compassion rather than judgment. Qualities are not only beneficial to our own well-being, but ripple outward, shaping our relationships, our communities, and even the younger generations who quietly observe how we age and live. In this way, aging becomes not a process of decline, but a form of leadership, a way of modeling how to live with purpose, integrity, and heart. And this perspective invites us to consider how we spend our time, how we nourish our bodies, how we care for our minds, and how we continue to grow and evolve. Even in our later years, for growth does not stop with youth. It simply changes form, becoming more inward, more reflective, and more attuned to the invisible yet powerful forces of intention, kindness, and presence. And perhaps the most liberating truth of all is this: there's no perfect way to age, no ideal routine or one-size-fits-all formula for health or happiness, only a willingness to listen to our own bodies, to the wisdom of experience, to the quiet promptings of intuition, and to respond with honesty, humility, and care, because when we approach each day with this kind of attention, even the smallest actions, choosing fresh food, moving gently, speaking kindly, sitting quietly, reaching out to a friend, become acts of healing and connection. And over time, these acts accumulate, forming the very fabric of a meaningful life. A life that does not resist aging but honors it, not as an end, but as a deepening, a flowering of all that we have lived, learned, and loved. And in this way, our hearts remain strong not only in muscle, but in spirit, resilient not only in their beat, but in their capacity to love, to forgive, to imagine, and to hope, even when the world around us changes, and especially when it does. And as we deepen our understanding of aging not as a gradual retreat, but as a sacred unfolding of wisdom, it becomes vital to explore the way our environment, both physical and emotional, shapes our internal landscape. For the spaces we inhabit, the people we engage with, and the atmosphere we create around ourselves subtly yet profoundly influence our mental clarity, cardiovascular balance, and overall vitality. And in this context, the concept of therapeutic surroundings emerges as a powerful tool in promoting wellness, especially in older adults who may find themselves spending more time in familiar domestic environments, as studies have shown that natural light, fresh air, the presence of plants, the use of calming colors, and even the presence of soft textures and familiar objects can soothe the nervous system, reduce anxiety, and lower blood pressure, which in turn supports a healthy heart rhythm and enhances sleep quality, digestion, and emotional regulation. And beyond the aesthetic or sensory aspects of environment lies the importance of emotional safety. A home or community that fosters kindness, inclusion, and respect, where one can express vulnerability without fear of shame, and where intergenerational exchange is valued as a two-way bridge rather than a one-directional caretaking model. And in such a space, older individuals are not merely recipients of care, but sources of perspective, humor, and hard-won insight, contributing to a dynamic and nourishing social ecology that protects against loneliness and cognitive decline. And alongside these environmental considerations comes the necessity of purposeful engagement, which does not mean staying constantly busy, but rather participating in activities that carry meaning, whether it's sharing stories, making art, volunteering, mentoring younger generations, practicing a faith tradition, or simply taking time each day to learn something new, because purpose acts as a compass, giving direction to our thoughts and energy and strengthening our immune system and cardiovascular resilience through the power of hope and intention. And as we look at the intersection of environment, engagement, and inner life, we begin to see aging as an intricate dance that involves the whole self, body, mind, spirit, and community, moving in rhythm with the seasons of life. And this awareness invites us to reconsider how we structure not only elder care institutions, but our neighborhoods, cities, and homes, asking, do they support movement, conversation, reflection, and joy, or do they isolate and silence those who have the most to share? And when we answer this question honestly, we often find that the changes needed are not large or costly, but rooted in care and creativity. Simple benches along walking paths, shared gardens, communal tables, music in public spaces, spaces for storytelling and silence alike. And these elements combined form what might be called a heart-friendly culture, one that honors the aging process as essential to collective well-being. And when society adopts this approach, everyone benefits. Not just the elderly, but families, caregivers, and young people who grow up seeing aging as a meaningful, beautiful phase of life rather than something to fear or avoid. And in this way, the individual journey of aging becomes a catalyst for societal healing, teaching us to value presence over speed, depth over distraction, and wisdom over novelty. And perhaps this is the greatest offering of all, that by embracing the rhythms of age with reverence and openness, we learn how to live more fully, more compassionately, and more courageously in every stage of life, creating not only healthier hearts, but more generous hearts, ones capable of giving and receiving love freely, enduring difficulty with grace, and facing each new day with both strength and softness, grounded in the quiet power that comes from a life well lived and a spirit still willing to grow. As we arrive at the culmination of this exploration, it becomes clear that the journey of aging and the cultivation of a heart-friendly culture are inseparable from the deeper human quest for meaning, connection, and legacy. For in the twilight years, the desire to be seen, heard, and valued intensifies, reminding us that our lives ripple outward through the people and places we touch, and therefore creating spaces both physical and metaphorical, that nurture these longings is essential not only for individual fulfillment, but for the collective soul of our communities. And in this spirit, the role of storytelling emerges as a profound bridge linking past, present, and future, as elders hold the living archives of family histories, cultural wisdom, and life lessons that can ground younger generations in identity and resilience while fostering empathy and continuity. And when these narratives are shared in environments that honor vulnerability and authenticity, they become sources of healing and transformation, revealing patterns of endurance and grace amidst adversity, which can inspire renewed purpose and hope. And alongside storytelling, the integration of mindful practices such as meditation, gentle movement, and breath awareness offers a toolkit for navigating the inevitable challenges of aging with equanimity and presence, enabling individuals to cultivate inner peace and reduce stress-related inflammation that burdens the heart and mind, thus weaving together mind-body-spirit. Approaches that honor the complexity of human experience. And recognizing this interconnectedness leads naturally to a broader understanding of health that transcends the purely biomedical model, inviting holistic perspectives that embrace emotional, social, and spiritual dimensions as vital to longevity and quality of life. And as society begins to embrace these values, the vision of aging transforms from a stage marked by decline to a vibrant chapter characterized by contribution, creativity, and deepening relationships. And this transformation requires systemic changes. Accessible healthcare that prioritizes preventive and integrative approaches, urban planning that fosters walkability and social interaction, policies that support caregivers and combat ageism, and educational initiatives that prepare all ages to appreciate and engage with the aging process with respect and curiosity. And in doing so, we cultivate communities where no one is marginalized or invisible, but where every person is a vital thread in the social fabric, valued for their unique story and capacity to give and receive love, wisdom, and joy. And ultimately, the finale of this journey invites us all, regardless of age, to reflect on how we live each day, encouraging us to embrace vulnerability as strength, to seek connection over isolation, and to honor the rhythm of life with gratitude and intention so that when our time comes, we do so with the grace of one who has truly lived, loved, and left the world a little kinder and more beautiful than we found it. And thus, the story of aging becomes not an end, but a continuation of the timeless dance of existence, full of promise, depth, and the infinite potential to touch hearts and inspire souls across generations yet to come.